This is exactly when you should kill your Facebook ads because I've ran over $20 million in ads. I've generated over $100 million in sales. And I want to show you exactly how I think about killing ads, when I kill them, how I kill them, and if I even kill them. So get ready, get strapped in. Let's make some magic happen. So the first thing that you want to establish is your KPIs. What are KPIs? Your key performance indicators. And I want to share something with you that I wish someone shared with me sooner. The true KPI isn't actually your cost per lead. Okay. That is important to have. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Having a good click through rate is important to have. Don't get me wrong. Right. CPMs are important, but don't get me wrong. These, my friend, are all vanity metrics, okay? They don't matter as much as the ultimate metric. And what is the ultimate metric? It's your cost per acquisition. How much does it cost you to actually acquire the customer, to get the sale? Because here's the thing. And again, I wish someone told me this sooner because I was so hung up on, oh, my CPMs are so high, and oh, my click-through rate is really low, and oh, my CPL is really high, and my cost per click is too high. I got to kill this ad. No. What's your cost per acquisition? What are you willing to spend in order to acquire a customer? And so here's the thing that I'll share with you is a scenario over here. Let's say I'm getting a CPL of $10. Okay, it cost me $10 to generate a lead. Most people would say, wow, that's great. I'll spend $10 to speak with, get a lead from one of my ideal clients. And then on the other hand, you have a $50 CPL. Most people would look at this and say, whoa, 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 $50, that's way too much money to spend on a lead. I'm going to kill that ad. But what they don't know and they may not realize, they're not looking deep enough into the data and they don't see that only one in 20 of these turn into an actual sale. However, with this one in 3 turn into a sale. Meaning the cost per acquisition for this baby over here is $200 on this ad. But the cost per acquisition on this ad over here is only $150. Heck, even if it was 1 in 4, I would much rather go for this ad. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because I would much rather speak with 4 leads before I get to a sale than have to chase 20 freaking leads. And that's the thing that not a lot of people actually realize is that there's a cost. There's a cost, especially on a time level, to having to generate all these unqualified leads just to get to a sale. You have a higher unqualified rate with these, by the way. And here we are, we're gloating over the fact that we've got a $10 CPL. Look, recognize that these are vanity metrics if this is within our KPI. So what's a KPI? Our key performance indicator. We want to be able to establish, my friends, exactly what we're willing to pay to acquire a customer. And then we reverse engineer from there. So let me just refresh my page over here. And I will go over exactly what we should see as our KPI. So usually, let's just use easy math. If I'm willing to spend, if I'm willing to spend 1K to acquire a customer, I know that one lead is not going to turn into a customer. So I need to reverse engineer. Usually it's going to take me, say, 10 sales calls to close one. So if my close rate is ultimately 10%, then that means that I need to generate appointments. So to get this one close, right, I need to generate 10 appointments. So I divide 1,000 by 10. That means I need to spend $100 per appointment. Okay, if $100 is what I need to spend per appointment, I know that not every lead turns into an appointment. So to get 10 at 100, I know that each of the 10, I need to probably generate, I'd say 5 leads, right? So that means I need 50 leads. So that means I'll be spending $20 a lead. That should be my KPI. So really, ultimately, what I'm trying to get to over here is that if I generate 50 leads, I'll get 10 booked appointments. If I get 10 booked appointments, I'll close 1 deal. This is very simplistic math. I haven't even gotten into like the attrition of how many people show up with these appointments, how many of them are unqualified versus qualified. Like I haven't even gotten into that nuance. But for simple math, let's say $20 is my KPI for cost per lead. So now imagine I'm running an ad and I've already spent $20 and I haven't generated a lead. Does that mean I should kill the ad? No. I generally, at least when an ad is brand new, depending on what my CPL is, I like spending at least 2 to 3x my KPI before I kill an ad. So for example, if I've generated no leads, then I'm going to spend $40 to $60 before I kill this ad. Let's say I've generated 1 lead and now that lead was generated at $40. Well, guess what? I'm at 2x our KPI, but guess what? I've generated 1 lead. If it spends a few more dollars and generates another lead, like let's say it spends $50 and it generates 1 more lead, then it's $25 a lead. I've gotten 2 leads for $50, 25 each. I should be willing to spend a little bit more in the beginning so that eventually over time, my ad cost comes down, because Facebook out the gate very rarely gets you the leads that you want at the cost you want them. Facebook oftentimes takes a bit of time to optimize. So what we want to do over here is we want to wait. And this applies to YouTube as well. Right? This isn't just for Facebook. This applies to Google as well. And so it's the same thing over here for our appointments. If all of a sudden we've spent, $20, $30, heck, even $60, and yeah, we've only generated 1 lead, but guess what? Maybe that 1 lead turns into an appointment. All of a sudden, spending $50 a lead doesn't matter anymore if it generated an appointment, because our appointment KPI is 100 per appointment, but now we just generated 1 lead at 50, and that 1 lead turned into an appointment. We're doing pretty swell on our cost per appointment. So do you see what I mean by CPL is a vanity metric? If our upper down the line metrics are looking good, then the leading metrics, which are CPL, CTR, CPM, CPC, these don't matter as much. If our cost per lead is looking good, for example, then the CTR doesn't matter as much, or the CPM. If our cost per appointment is looking good, then our CPL doesn't matter as much. But if our cost per acquisition is looking good, then heck, I don't give a crap about my cost per appointment or my cost per lead being too high. So I hope this is making sense that, ultimately spend 2 to 3x what it is that you're expecting to pay either for the lead or for the appointment. And guess what? Oftentimes, and here's a pro tip for you, oftentimes, if it's taking a little bit more for you to get the lead, in other words, if you're having to spend a little bit more to get the lead, then usually it may be a sign that Facebook is serving your ad to a very specific pocket of the audience that actually is a bit more qualified than the other people that you don't want to be targeting, because they're unqualified. And therefore, the higher the qualification, generally as business owners, we should be willing to pay more for them. So you will find that even if you generate an appointment at $300, but if you generate 2 of those appointments and 1 and 2 of them close, again, your cost per acquisition is a measly $600, for example. Like, I'd rather spend $600 than $1,000 and only have 2 appointments to deal with versus generating all these appointments at like $80 or $100. And I'm like, yeah, I have, so many appointments, but then I only close 1 in 10 and then I've spent $1,000. So don't ever be selfish or miserly when it comes to your CPLs and your cost per appointment, especially if down the line you can justify through a good close rate that you will turn them into jobs, into sales. So I hope this was helpful. This is really the way that I think about things when I'm working with my done-for-you clients, the clients that I run ads for personally, where I do the copywriting, I do the funnel optimization, and I do the media buying. And then they come to me and they're scared and they're like, oh, our CPL is too high and the cost per appointment is too high. And I say, okay, well, what's your close rate right now? What's your cost per acquisition? And they're like, oh, cost per acquisition is actually below. Oh, and our lifetime value's gone up recently. Well, okay, why are you tripping out then? Right? You see what I'm saying? We don't want to trip out over vanity metrics. I see a lot of people looking at their click-through rates or their CPMs and saying, oh, CPMs are at like, $50. And I'm like, all right, what were they before? They're like, oh, CPMs were usually $38 and it's really high right now. And it's like, okay, well, but what's your CPL? They're like, oh, it's lower than it's ever been. Okay, so then why are you tripping out? Okay, and remember the leading metrics of CPM, CTR, CPC, frequency, like none of this stuff really matches if the downstream metrics of CPL are good. And the CPL doesn't matter if the cost per appointment is good. And the cost per appointment doesn't matter if the actual cost per acquisition is on point. Drill this into your head because ultimately it's going to help you as a business owner be less reactionary when it comes to ads. And I'll share one more thing before we go over here. If an ad is doing well and then all of a sudden it goes out of KPI, kill it, duplicate it, and then relaunch it as is. Try that before you go to running brand new ads. I have found time and time again that what ends up happening with Facebook is that it's got this market, okay, this market that it's serving your ad to, right? This is the ad and it's just like getting deeper and deeper and it's going really well. And this is the pocket that it's serving to and your ad's doing well and the CPL is great. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, it goes out of KPI because it starts serving to this pocket of the audience. And this pocket of the audience isn't great. They're just full of brokies and people that don't actually want to buy. And now you're thinking to yourself, well, it's the ad. It's the ad. The ad's gone out of KPI. This ad is fatigued. And here you are thinking that it's served it to everyone over here. And you're like, it's already saturated. The ad has gone to everyone. Wrong. That's not what's happened. It's just all of a sudden gone to a bad pocket. So if you kill this ad and you relaunch it anew, it may actually get back into a good pocket without you having to change a single thing about the actual ad itself. And it will save you a ton of time, a ton of money, and I hope this video saved you as well. If you want to join our free school community where I'll give you my exact blueprint that I used to grow my agency to over $200,000 a month in revenue before I actually exited, then go ahead and check out in the description or the comment. You can also follow me on IG where we can chat one-on-one. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you, man. Peace.